My first government job, I came from the private sector, so I've had a split career, 14 years in the private sector, and then came into the government at the United States Parole Commission, and came in as a computer specialist, working for Parole Commission at a time where they were actually downsizing from 5 regions to 1. So the challenge was to try to make them more efficient. And one of my great learning experiences coming from the private sector especially was patience, because government moves at a much, much slower rate than private sector. I sought out, had some great guidance and sought out mentors. I sought out people who had walked the walk in the government that could advise me as to where exactly I needed to go, could help me steer around some of the potholes. And I had a willingness to want to move up, so to do that, I had to be willing to move. And so early on in government, I became a learning sponge. I think the first thing with young people coming into the government is to understand that feeling overwhelmed is a natural feeling when you come into a new position, especially in the government, because depending on where you're working, it could be completely overwhelming if you're in a big agency. So realize that other people have actually felt the same way. Everybody that comes in has that same feeling. And don't ever hesitate to seek out advice from other people. Don't ever hesitate to ask questions. Don't ever think that you have all the answers. Always be a learning sponge. Always go after knowledge. Always try to find people that are more successful than you and attach to their hip. It's probably the best learning thing that I've ever gotten. And the second piece is be goal-oriented. You're going to feel at times where you have so many things on your plate that you don't know exactly what things to do. So be structured and goal-oriented. Attack things in a systematic manner. Prioritize and go after what the most important thing is. Focus on that and tackle the second most important thing. First of all, because I attach myself to mentors, the best government career advice I ever received was to diversify myself. So I came in as a technologist. I wanted and aspired to be an SES. The best advice I ever got was, when you look at the whole pie of where your specialty is, that pie is small. Diversify. Take an assignment in personnel staff. Take an assignment in the finance staff. Take an assignment in the field if you're in an organization that's field dispersed. Get as much of a diversified background as you possibly can, because what that does later on is it separates you from the pack. As you're going for different positions, you can now expand your horizons, and you don't have to be only a technologist. You now can move into supervising a personnel staff. You can move into supervising a financial staff. Also, when you're looking at senior positions, if you aspire to do that in government, it weeds you out. People see that you've got such a diverse background. He's not just a technologist, or she. They've worked in personnel, they know the field operations, they understand our mission. So diversify well, and the second piece is learn, learn, and learn. If you haven't completed your education, complete your education. If you've completed your education, go to the next level. If you've got a doctorate degree, continue to go to seminars, network, learn, branch out, expand. Don't ever stop, don't ever be satisfied. Mentors is very important. This type of forum is very important. Go to seminars is very important. Again, diversify. Do as many internal trainings in your organization as you possibly can. Get known in the community. Don't just be known in your office. Don't just be known in your component, but get known in the federal government community. And the only way to do that is to get out and network, to be a part of interagency groups. Just continue to thrive and be excited. Don't fall into a pigeonhole of being just satisfied with what you're doing. Get excited about what you do. Get energetic about what you do. And if you feel like you're stale, government is broad. Go find something that's exciting. There's so many great things going on in government right now, and believe it or not, in the constrained environment, it's really an exciting place to be. Exposure. incredible place to learn, especially here in Washington, D.C. You have the opportunity to be exposed to some of the most powerful people in the world. You have the opportunity to do the major mission of the country, and which is a very proud mission. Law enforcement, where I focus my efforts, is challenging, and you never, ever stop. It's not one of those things that it's cyclical. Criminals are criminals. Things are going on. So for somebody to come into government, it's the best place to be. It's a great learning experience for you. People might think that it's not rewarding. It's very rewarding, and it can train you and groom you for great private sector success. You can see multiple cases of people that have come into the federal government that have transitioned out and become extremely successful. So I recommend coming into government for all of those reasons.